for many people, the most vulnerable moment in a day is when you're sitting down at table fellowship.
I laugh at that one because I know everything coming out.
But it's not just that everything coming out, but you take off your mask. Okay? So you sit down with people that you know well, but before you sit down, your mask is on. When you sit down, you take off your mask. You are now susceptible to infection in the most vulnerable way. And I'm saying this with COVID in mind, but I'm also saying this with humanity in mind. When you sit down at the table, you take off your mask. Ah, boy. And everything comes tumbling out.
Literally.
All kind of things happen at the table that you don't hear in other ways. And it allows this kind of exchange and this kind of amazing back and forth that gives you a real sense of the person and where the person is at, and it comes tumbling out. So, you know, in the first century, it wasn't just that, as we have now, I have my chair, you have your chair. We could social distance. In the first century, you're sitting down on the ground on a table that is kind of chest height, and you sitting down, but to keep upright, you leaning into the person next to you, and the person on this side of you now, they're leaning into you. So you really in everybody's private space.
Yeah.
So you're kind of propping yourself with one hand and you're eating with the other hand. But somebody here leaning on you and you leaning on somebody behind you. And that's how you're going around this table. You're propping on each other. It's a very intimate form of communion. And you're in a constant contact with the people on either side of you. And this is a setting on the night before he dies. And
I love that.
He's in this intimate, interconnected setting where they are leaning on each other on the night before he dies. When the scripture says, and the one who was leaning against his breast, that's what they're talking about. That one was leaning on him as he was leaning on the person next to him. Because that's how the Jewish table of the first century, that's how it operated. So you don't go to table fellowship with somebody that you're not really, really intimate with.
Right.
Because when you get the real intimacy,
yes, partner, then that is the height of betrayal. Because, you know, as you just shared with us, the man who was betraying Jesus was intimate with him, leaning upon him,
yes,
shoulder to shoulder.
The man who dips the bread in the dish with me.
Wow. That close.
It's that close. It is that close.